I'm recording. We're ready to get going. Yep.
Hey, everybody. So, I'm Lizzie and you've seen me in a few of them. And I just want to welcome you all. And it's, you've already done a lot of the training and had a lot of experiences in the sessions and in all the homework. So you've probably got lots of stuff rising up and things that you're loving and things that you might be wanting to learn. So in the check-in, if you could just think about one thing you'd like to bring in your 30 seconds. So one thing in your 30 seconds, it could be a question or a comment from the last session. Edwin's just put it in the chat box. Or it could be a learning that you had from your empathy buddy call, or maybe something from your experience of facilitating an empathy circle. But see if you can choose one thing that's meaningful for you in some way and share that as part of your check-in. And I'll name people just to keep it moving along. And well, actually, Larry, would you be happy to start?
Hi, yeah, happy to start. Okay, I was just thinking about Empathy Circles call I've done with one of mine who's been involved in Indy for many, many years. And I'm just really elated that our first experience a couple ago was, it just kind of fell flat on its face. It was not what she was expecting at all. And it didn't get very far. And she was very disappointed. She wanted it to be in VC. And I tried to explain what it was. And then last night we did another one, explained it all again, and it went beautifully. And then she texted today to say that she really, really enjoyed it. So I can say, we human beings have our expectations. When things are not like we expect, then we balk at it. But the Empathy Circle process works. It works if you work.
Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you so much. And I'm sure this is whenever anyone says anything, I can see other people nodding and smiling and sharing the experience, internalizing it. Thank you so much. Sally, what about you? How are you? Or what would you like to check in with?
I am doing okay. I just got back from my drum circle, and it's kind of great. I got a Mariposa, and then I don't know, I had this headache, migraine, and it went away. So that was like totally amazing. It's like, anyway, the facilitation has been really challenging, and maybe I'm a little more challenged than most, but I would have to say that is why it's a good learning experience for me, is with this struggle you grow. And that's kind of how I want to end this.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you so much. Yeah. Jaya, what about you?
Hi, everyone. So one of the challenges I faced in having this empathy call with somebody, of course, I was supposed to have it with Larry, but that did not happen. And it will happen soon, Larry. So I was having this with another friend of mine. The only thing I found was it became very difficult for me to be empathetic to myself also in the process, and to be fully present with the other person. That was challenging. Yeah.
Thank you. And again, what everyone's saying, I'm sure everyone's going, yep, I know that feeling. Yep. Kesha.
Hi, everyone. Right now, what's on my mind is, I had this buddy call with Mainak this week, and it was a wonderful call. And during the call, I realized that I need to go back to my reading because I heard him say that even he was missing reading, and I'm not that a great reader, but I'm practicing reading. So yeah, that's right now my state. I'm just thinking about that at the moment.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kesh. Thank you. And welcome everybody who's coming in. Welcome. We're just doing the check-in. So when I call your name, just have one thing ready to say, one thing from last session, from the Empathy Buddy call, from facilitate an Empathy Circle in the week, something that's meaningful for you that you want to share with the group. So Minak, what about you?
Hi everyone. So I have had these few buddy calls till now, and I sense that most of us share what I do. I'm finding it difficult. Like it's more about being empathizing with oneself for the few minutes that we get. It seems to be like more. A lot of us are finding it difficult to speak than listen, and really to organize our thoughts in this few minutes, what to speak, how much to speak, how much to open up. And is this an exercise, or is this really treat it as a pure buddy call that way? So I think those are some thoughts in our mind, and that's where we are struggling.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really well expressed. Mona.
Hi everybody. This week was challenging because I have the train with pandemic professor on Saturdays, and they are the same thing, but it's a whole different experience. Like being with other people but doing the same thing, but everyone brings something new to the circle, like his experience, like being part of the humanity, being part of everyone's journey in this. It's fascinating me how it's changing me inside, changing the way I look to the people. And I was having the call with Sally, and we talked like about for more than 1 hour. And we have a training to be facilitator with each other, to have more practice on it. And it's really a very good place to be a human being. And I'm really glad that I'm part of the circle, really. And tomorrow we will have I will be part with the facilitator to group of educational, and I'm very interesting. It's like it will be the first time I will do it with other people, and the way that everyone going to help, and I'm really, really happy to be part of this group. So thank you.
So that always could. Oh, no, it's gone now, so that's great. Payal, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Hi. So I missed the question because I came in 4-5 minutes late.
Oh, that's fine.
But what I
It's a 30-second check-in, and it's one of three things. Edwin's just put it in the chat box. So it's either a question or a comment from the last session, or any learning from your Empathy Buddy call.
Sure.
Maybe
Thank you.
Empathy Circle. Just choose one thing meaningful for you.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying my Empathy Buddy calls. It is pushing me to listen to different people. That's one thing that's helping me. I'm also being able to see some shape of if I were to do it, how would I like to do it? That's the other one. I do have questions that keep coming up, and then I put them on to Edwin sometimes, and then I also bring that to the group. So I'm also receiving that support. So all in all, I'm ready to begin today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Anu.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, everyone. what's on my mind, and of course, good evening also, depending on which part of the world you are from. So what's on my mind right now? So I had an interesting empathy buddy call with Kang, and we kind of, we connected with each other on the challenges that we have experienced while facilitating a circle. And there was so much to learn. I was looking at a particular challenge um, in a specific way, and Kang shared uh, a different view. So I'm just curious at this moment, and I would want it to explore a bit more when we do another session, practice session, rather than asking the group the challenges or the queries right now. I think a better approach would be, for me, it would be to wait and watch. Yeah, so looking forward to this session and learning from each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you. And Kang.
Yes, can you hear me well? You can't hear me at all.
It's a little bit hard, but just keep going for the minute.
Okay, because Larry helped me to get out of the sound problem, and I think it's coming up again. So I have to thank Larry for that. Besides that, I had a circle, an empathy circle last week, and as Anne said, we had some challenges with people not responding as the listener according to what is prescribed. So as Anne said, I would like to watch more and also learn more from today's practice to see how I can
Thank you. Thank you, Kang. You and Larry might want to pass notes to work on your sound a bit to see if you can tweak it a bit, because it is possible to hear you, but just it kind of sort of breaking up a bit. It's clear, it's loud, but it's a bit, little bit broken, but we can catch it, so it's not desperate. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So Maria.
Hi. It's been a bit of an adjustment for me, I guess, with the time change. It's earlier for me because we don't adjust in Hawaii. But this week, I had a buddy call with Jen. That was really, I think we had things we connected, and also sort of sharing different perspectives. I think for me, it was really a good reminder about getting started and moving. Sometimes I tend to be thinking of the process and how to make everything perfect before I step forward. So listening to Jen kind of helped me really think about moving forward with Empathy Circles. And as far as facilitating my own circles, I think in the last week, I found a little bit better place for myself where I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable, and allowing myself to being kinder, so that I'm not trying to prepare too much and be too perfect and just letting it happen. So those were nice reminders and encouragements, I think I experienced for myself.
Well, thank you. It's also, that's a great tip for everybody. So thank you. Yeah. Jen, what's your one thing you'd like to bring?
Hi everybody. Goodness, the one thing I I guess I'll share. I think just reflecting, more on the buddy call that I had with Maria, the thing about moving forward, I, coming into this empathy circle work has been really empowering. It's one of the things that I think I was so much needing for myself, to relax my own nervous system. that I really have been able to allow the work to really settle me. And, you know, with the help of each of you, you know, all of the people that I've been able to connect with and talk with has been so nourishing in a way that has, you know, just like, I guess as, yeah, just settled me along with my own self empathy. So, yeah, I'm feeling, yeah, I feel very like just ready, you know, to move forward and continue on with my process and not have, you know, fear or anxiety be the leading thing, you know, like I just feel that I can drop in to my own self-awareness and be with each person very authentically. So yeah, thank you.
Jen, thank you so much. Explained that beautifully. Yeah. And Faustina. Hi.
Hi. Sorry, what was the question? Or
So in the check-in, we're just doing our check-in. Just one thing that's important to you that could either be from last session or the empathy buddy call or running a group in the week. Just one thing to share.
Well, I think for the past week, my week's been pretty hectic and crazy. And so the body call actually was a bit giving me some anxiety because I wanted, you know, everything to be perfect. It was a week of planning and I also wanted to have a perfect body call. But I think my call with my body was just such a different feeling. Like it was such a calming and environment space. And I feel like I just had to respect the process and trust it to unfold on its own and not to put too much pressure on me or my body. And I think that's an important thing that I learned, just trusting it to unfold on its own.
Oh, thank you so much. And now that I'm going to ask the trainers and the trainees to check in, and I'm just going to check in now and say that I was running a circle last night, and I just wanted to emphasize, like pick up on what one of you was saying, that it's very soothing and calming, the turn taking and the predictability and knowing you'll be listened to and knowing you can say what you want. I find it very profoundly soothing. And I also find it amazing how the facilitators all support each other. So when you're facilitating and hosting, you're not alone. Like you can feel alone now, but you're not alone. We're always supporting each other. And then at the end, we debrief and we think, oh, this happened, so I did this. What did you think of that? Would you have done something differently? And we learn from each other. So we really support each other in the circles. So and last night it felt particularly good because we did have a few challenges, unexpected challenges that were new for us. And we had so even though we've really experienced, those new challenges came in and we have to work our way around them. Yeah. So that's my check-in. Russia, what about you?
I had a busy week with my work, and otherwise I'm just looking forward to today. There'll be a lot more challenges, and you know, I'm just curious and like excited.
Thank you. Leona.
I was on the same empathy call as Lizzie last night and loved the feeling of support, that having other facilitators in the room meant that, you know, even though I was facilitating, if anything unusual happened, I knew I could trust everybody to step in and the process would be fine. And so having that sense of support in a team is just very nourishing and relaxing. Thank you.
Edwin. Thanks, Leona.
Yeah, thanks. We have 3 cohorts running at the moment and working on a 4th one. So, you know, a lot to juggle, but I'm really getting into the training part of it. You know, how do we just sort of break all the different components down and make it as easy as possible for, you know, all the participants and trainers and trainees to take part. So I'm really enjoying the process of that that design process. Yeah, that's me.
So thank you for everything you brought, everyone, because there's a lot of energy in the room, energy to learn, energy, this sort of triumph and joy and fear and concern and all of that. It's wonderful. Leona.
Could we ask Priyanka to check in?
Oh, Priyanka, I'm so sorry. I've got my list and it's got got the ticks and I'm really, really sorry. Priyanka.
I'm so, can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, I'm really so glad to see all the feedback coming in from people and talking about how soothing it is to the nervous system. And I think I'm planning to do a research on this. So it's nice hearing how effective this has been for you. And hopefully we'll be able to put this in a research and try to convince more people to get them to do empathy. And thank you. I just feel so grateful for this community that we're all here taking part and doing this wonderful work. And as you always, also grateful for Edwin for driving it all. It's not easy to drive this team of volunteers and there's so many challenges. So I feel really grateful for Edwin and his tenacity because it really takes a lot of work. So thank you for being here, all of you. I look forward to today, and I have a lot of tough challenges for my group. I'm not going to make it easy.
That's great. So Edwin, will you move us on to the next
Yeah,
part?
it was Rasha was doing next the feedback.
All right. Yeah. So I'll just quickly address some comments that we had seen in the feedback forms from last week, right? Some questions. The first one from Payal, I think you have asked this question a couple of times, so we'll just delve into that quickly once again. So she says, often we are able to bring in empathy during a normal or good day. However, during intense emotions of anger, hurt, fear, we are not able to, right? So how do you deal with it? So if this situation is specific to the empathy circle practice, right, then the trick is to just stick to the process, right? Often the opportunity that an empathy circle provides for you to speak, right, will bring the intensity of your emotions down, right? And on top of that, when somebody listens and reflects it back to you, then that act of acknowledgement will further calm you, right? So the key is to just keep sticking to the process. And but if this is in context of everyday life, then I would say that practicing self-empathy through meditation and the likes can be a good way to cope with intense emotions in the long run, right? Next question, what can we do when the listener reflects in way too many words compared to the original message, right? That's okay if the speaker feels completely hurt, right? The ultimate objective, remember, is for the speaker to feel fully and satisfactorily heard, right? So as long as that objective is met, we're good. But if the speaker feels that his or her message has not been reflected back to him properly due to the use of extra words, then the speaker can communicate that to the listener, right, when he speaks next, right? And he can call out any extra information that the listener reflected back, which the speaker did not intend to convey, right? Then the next question, how do I work with complex foreign languages, right? We usually have this in English, but if a speaker, let's take it first about a speaker mixing some foreign language while speaking, then as the listener, you reflect back whatever you understood, right? And the speaker can then clarify if there's anything that you missed, right? But if he or she doesn't clarify and this pattern bothers you, always feel free to bring it up, right? Because it's important to clear, like, these things before you move on. Now, if the listener reflects back with a mix of a foreign language and you could not understand it, then as the speaker, you can bring that up when you speak next, right? So then there was a question asking, what does one do when the group is unruly, right? So if a group is unruly, it just means that the group is not sticking to the process, right? So you can try to gently bring the group back to the process. And if that doesn't work, then you may just need to halt the process and remind the group that, sticking to the process is essential for it to go forward. And often, this happens when participants are confused, they need some answers. And so if in that case, you may just ask participants whether anything is bothering them, if they have any questions, and then clarify or, just clear these issues and questions they bring up, and then you move on, right? Then how does one empathize with participants who transgress, right, and disrupt the process? So it's kind of similar, like a participant may be disrupting the process because they're confused or they're unclear about what needs to be done. So just ask him or her if there are any questions, like, or ask whether something is bothering them, like, clear these questions, and, and then you can gently bring them back to the process and things should go well, right? And one more question is about, how does one deal with group silence, right? And I feel during the process of a circle, if the speaker is struggling to speak and needs a few minutes of silence, that is totally okay, right? That's totally okay. The listener can just reflect the silence back, right? And I think it's important that we respect that need for silence, and it's good for us to get comfortable with silences sometimes. But if the silence is outside of the process, and if the whole group seems to get uncomfortable for some reason, like for example due to disruptions by one or two participants, and suddenly nobody has anything to say, then you can always talk about what then you can always what do you say, and suddenly nobody has anything to say, right? Then you can remind the participants that they can always talk about anything, that whatever feels alive for them, right? And then you can nudge the process forward. And in situations where the silence is too much that I don't see happening, in case, then the facilitator can always choose to be the speaker, and you can bring in something interesting that can kind of liven up the group, and the process can go on. So this is some of the questions. I'd just like to ask whether any of the other trainers have anything to add. Yeah.
I have, because my first empathy circle was unfortunately a very unruly group, and I had two participants who were very disruptive. And I had another person who I would say was my empathy angel in the group, who, when the group became too combative and the things became really hostile and aggressive, she just she just jumped in and she said, okay, all of us, let's just take a silent pause. And she took us through a grounding exercise where she made us feel the sensations on our body and just focus on our breaths for some time. And that really helped everybody in the group to calm our nervous system. And after that, empathy circle went really well and we could hear each other better. So maybe interventions like that, I mean, in my experience, was really helpful. I don't know what other trainers have to say about interventions like that.
No, I think that's a beautiful, suggestion. Yeah, that's something that can be done. So if it gets too disruptive, just take a pause, breathe, and then get back, right? And always make sure to just answer any questions anybody may have. Yeah. So if there's nothing else, then I think we can move on, right? So yeah, Leona.
Thanks, Rasha. Yeah, so one of the things we're going to be doing, well, what we're doing today in our breakout rooms, is paying attention to some of the challenges that can come up for us as participants and as predominantly as facilitators. The challenges can be technical, like Zoom dropping out, or people coming late, or sound breaking up, or somebody using the chat while another person's talking. So you might be thinking about some of those technical challenges. They can be challenges with the active listener, like we already heard, giving too many words back, or not giving enough words, or not really getting what the person said. So you're wondering if they were listening to the same thing you were listening to. Can be a challenge with the silent listeners. They might be drinking or eating or stretching or turning their video on and off, or not muting so you get sound, or having distractions going on in their background, so that's another challenge. So we've done technical, active listener, silent listener. Then the speaker can be they speak too quickly, can be they like we had language issues, can be they're very passionate or have intense emotions that impact other people. There's a range of things that can happen. They could freeze partway through what they're saying. They could just want the entire time in silence. The range of challenges there. At any point in time, people may become confused or object to the structure of the circle. So I don't know why we have to ... I don't know why we have to reflect back. Why can't we just have a conversation? Or I'm just so confused. How does this work again? So they might object to the process or the structure, or they may misunderstand the process or the structure. And then finally, the challenge could be the facilitator. You may have a lot going on in your life. You're distracted. Your family keep coming in. Or we have 1,001 distractions in our life. That can happen. Or you find you have strong feelings about one of the participants, and that gets in the way of feeling the empathy you'd like to feel. How do you give yourself some self-empathy around that? So when you're thinking today about challenges, I'd invite you to think of the challenges that are of particular interest to you. Some of them you go, oh, I know what I would do with that. That's easy. I've done that before. And others will be like, I hope that never happens in my circle ever, because I don't know what I would do. So start to think about challenges that are easy for you versus challenges that are more difficult. And when you go into your circle today, let your team or your group know kind of the intensity of the challenge you want. So you might say, I want very low intensity. I want you to be just giving me a tiny challenge, or a medium, or give me as much as you like, just go for the big challenge. So think about where you're at today, the kind of challenge you want and the intensity of the challenge. One thing I'd say that is really helpful is when a challenge comes up, the first instinct can be to intervene. And unless there's harm happening, it can be helpful just to let the process go for a little bit and see if it just irons itself out, as we would say, or just disappears. Because the structure is very supportive, and often a listener may reflect back in a particular way and make a comment. And then they hear another whole round and realize nobody's commenting or offering an opinion. And they never do it again. They've just done some learning there. And so sometimes we don't need to pick up a challenge straight away. But today I'll invite you to attend to the challenge. So I just want to make that distinction. Today, this is a learning activity, so you will attend to the challenge. But in your circles, you might let it go and see if it happens again. When you do attend to a challenge, it can be important to name what you see as happening. So just as if, it were a video camera, what I see, what I hear is not your opinion about it necessarily, not your feelings about it, but just what I see happening is opinions are being offered instead of reflections. And an opinion sounds like X. Give empathy to the person. I understand you really, this topic really matters to you, and in the circle. So if you can use the word and rather than but, that's really more inclusive and softer for the person hearing it. And then invite them into what you want them to do. And so what I would like you to do is just reflect back what the speaker is saying. And when your turn to speak comes, you can then offer your opinion. That's your time. So you name what's happening, offer some empathy, and then invite them into what you want them to do. not what you don't want them to do. So what you want them to do, because then they can see where they should be going. So that's the breakout rooms today. Each facilitator will have 20 minutes, just as usual, plus some debrief time. You don't need to do the how-to today. You've had a couple of weeks of introducing an empathy circle. So today we're really going to focus on challenges. And you get to choose the topic you would like the 20 minutes to be on. So, and that can include and anything you'd like to talk about. So it could be on a topic plus anything you'd like to talk about. And each person will have 3 minutes to speak so that we get through a few rounds and have debrief. Okay, I'll take a breath and I'll check, are there any questions about that before we go into our breakout rooms? Your facilitators can re-explain the structure today and negotiate that with you once you're in the rooms. We'll have 75 minutes in the rooms and then come back to the big group. And Edwin will, as usual, take care of the timings for us. Remember, as facilitator, you take care of the timings in your group when you're facilitating.
Okay, we're ready to go into the rooms. And remember, you don't have to take any challenges. If it's like, oh, I don't think I want any challenges yet, you're free to say, no, just want to have a circle. So it's your choice. So here we go into the rooms. We'll have one room here. We'll be staying and the rest will be going into other rooms. So now, okay, here we go. Oh, and Kang, we want to check your audio. You're going to be in this room, and I want to double check with your audio. Can you just speak? I just wanted to test it because it was a little.
Is it better now? Is it better now compared to the previous time?
I think it's still. I think you still might be speaking into the using the computer audio.
Yeah, I guess I am.
So if you go into, you know, the there's a little microphone in the lower left. You click on the mute on the little up arrow, and you can select your microphone. If you try using a different microphone, Jaya should be moving. You should be moving into room 3, Jaya. Are you able to check?
I checked. I had like this 1.5 hour call with Larry to try out all of the possibilities. But I guess the only solution now would be to get a new headphone with microphone.
Okay.
Because we tried many.
Oh, it didn't work.
Options.
So okay, it still works. It's just has a lot of echo to it. Jaya, are you there or just checking? Because you're supposed to be going into room 3 and somehow you're not moving. So I hope we're not hearing from you. So okay, well we are ready, Leona. So it's just this is sort of the technical room. If people drop out in other rooms, they'll be coming through this one. So there's a little bit of extra distraction. Part of your test.
Test. Oh, that word's great. No testing today. We have so we have 75 minutes to share together, and so there'll be really around 20 minutes for you to run a circle and then some time for debrief. And what I'd like to invite you to do is think of a challenge that you would find difficult if you want to do a challenge. So for example, a challenge that I might find difficult is if someone is listening, they're the silent listener, but they keep jumping in. And then I say, don't jump in. This is your time to be just listening. And they jump in again. And that for me would be a difficult challenge. And so if you want to have a try today when you're offering a challenge to your facilitator, do the challenge you wouldn't want to have happen to you, so that you both get to feel it from your side, and it'll help in your debrief. Well, when I was being that person, I would have liked a facilitator to do this for me. So that's just one way to offer a challenge, is to role play the challenge you wouldn't want to have happen. But let's check when we do our circle, we'll check the level of intensity for each facilitator. So what I'd like to do first is sense the order of facilitation. Would anybody really like to go first as facilitator? Would anybody really like to go last? Everybody wants to go in the middle.
That's okay. I can go first.
Great, thank you, Anu. Okay, and then who would like to go second? Okay, Kang, I'm going to put you second because I'm doing this alphabetically now, and Maria, you're third. So we're just going alphabetically by your names. Anu, is there anything you need to let us know before you start your circle?
Not really. Just that if there is any technical glitch, any lag or something, then if someone lets me know, please.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it.
Great. Okay. And Anu, are you wanting some challenges today? Are you willing to receive some challenges?
Yes. I would pick up medium challenge, maybe.
Okay. Okay. So
yeah,
not too easy, but not the worst it could be. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any particular kind of support you would like from me today?
Yeah.
How can anything at all?
So I'm going back to what Lizzie mentioned, that when we are facilitating a circle, we are supported. So my presumption is that I have Leona with me today, and I'm conducting this circle, and she's supporting me. So if I'm stuck somewhere, is where I would turn to you.
Absolutely. You can stop the process, and it's often a fabulous learning for everybody if that happens. So don't be shy about doing that. Everybody gets to learn. Okay, and what we'll do is debrief at the end. And in the debrief, what I'll invite you to do is share how it was for you, and then the person who did the challenge, what it was like for them. And then if there's anything left that I or Edwin would like to add, we'll do that. How does that sound? Okay. So I'm going to start the timer for 20 minutes. And away you go. It's your circle.
So the challenge, I presume, is a surprise, is it?
Do you want to know, or would you like a surprise?
I'm good with anything.
Okay, so your participants, Kang and Maria, think of a challenge you'd like to just throw it in when you're ready. Edwin, are you just listening, or are you going to be
I'm a participant,
speaking?
so
You're
I'll
a participant?
reflect.
Okay. So I won't participate. I'll just be observing and supporting.
Sure.
Okay, Anu, go for it.
Yeah, so welcome everyone, and we are here for the Empathy Circle. I won't state the obvious because this is our third Empathy Circle. We know about the roles, we know about the process. So let's just get on and start sharing our stories or whatever is there on the mind. I was thinking about putting something on the chat for us. And like always, we can choose to speak about anything that's there on the mind. I see we are from the different parts of the world. So something that's coming up to me right now is just give me a second. My typing isn't that good. Okay, so just curious to figure out the meaning of the name and how has your name impacted you, or like I mentioned, anything else that's there on your mind. So we got 3 minutes each, and who would like to be the speaker? Hank? Okay. And we know the drill, we know the process. You can invite a listener.
Okay, I'll invite Edwin to be an active listener. Is that okay?
Yep, listening.
Okay. And I'm going to be the timekeeper.
So my name is Kang. In Vietnamese, Kang is actually a boy's name. It's a male name. So for the first 15 years of my life, I've been mistaken for a boy, as in I've been given school uniform for boys. I've been going to health checkup for the boys while girls go to a different room. I've had my name on different types of identity cards with the sex as male.
So I'm hearing that your name is in Vietnamese is actually a male, a boy's name, and that you have been mistaken for a boy in going to school. They, assigned you in the boys category, and that's happened in a lot of different cases.
Yes. Where was I? And then my dad told me when I was very young that Kang means happiness. Like the full name in Kang means bright happiness. And then I believed that for my entire childhood until I learned Chinese, and then I realized that Kang does not mean happiness. Kang means healthy. But I think at that point of time, it left a very deep impression on me already, that the way I think of myself is that way. And the way I introduce myself to other people would also be that way. So it was.
So I'm hearing that your father told you that your name meant happiness. Was that? Is that? Are you there?
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Are you frozen or?
Just stepping in and checking on Kang. Are you there? Can you hear us? You can use the reactions icon on Zoom. You see on the panel, you see this, a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So just give it about 10 seconds, if that's okay with everyone. Let's see if Kang has to, check few things at her end, and yeah. Okay, so unfortunately we don't see Kang. We can't hear him, or we can't hear Kang or listen. So my suggestion is to continue with the circle and Edwin, and then of course we can include Kang once we hear him back. So
okay,
let's continue.
Great. Maria, can I speak to you? Then
there we go. Yes.
Yeah, I had looked up my name to see what it meant, and it says, I think it's British, and it means good friend. So that's yeah. Let's start with that.
I'm hearing that you looked up your name, the meaning of your name, and it's British, and it means good friend.
Yeah, and I think my mother had said that the meaning, the reason that they chose it was, they immigrated from Germany to the United States after the war, and the name Edwin worked in German and in English, so it's sort of the same in both languages. So I thought, oh, that's convenient. It works in both languages. So yeah, that's why they chose it.
So I'm hearing that you spoke to your mother and about your name. how you got the name. And when they were immigrating from Germany to the United States, they thought that it was a good name since it works in both languages. And
Yeah.
that's how they selected it.
Yes, that was kind of interesting. And then, but the name Edwin is kind of rare here in the United States. So it was always a bit different sort of a name. Like usually it's Bob, John, Sam, Jerry, Jim, words like names like that in the environment where I grew up, at least. So that was and Edwin was always a little kind of a strange sort of a name. Yeah, for at least in the environment where I grew up.
So I'm hearing that your name Edwin is actually rather unique. So growing up around more sort of common names like Bob and names like that, it actually stood out a little bit more.
Yeah. So yeah, it did. But I'm you get used to it. I like it. I like the little bit of a uniqueness. And then since I've heard it used, and comes up here and there within society, so it's not totally off by itself. And I might add, I don't have a middle name, so I've been thinking of adding empathy to be my middle name, so it'd be Edwin Empathy Rutch. And then I wanted to run for political office, and I wanted to say, vote for empathy for my middle name. So it's something I've been thinking about.
So I'm hearing that although Edwin is unique, it's not entirely unheard of. So but what's unique is that you don't have a middle name. So you've considered choosing your own middle name to be Empathy. And when you do run for political office, you can kind of go with the slogan of vote for empathy.
Right. Exactly. I feel heard.
Thank you for sharing. Okay.
Maria, I'm really sorry. I'll just take a few seconds. And Kang, welcome back. I hope you can hear us now, and don't worry about we, as you know, we do it in we do it few times, so you will get a chance again to be a speaker. I hope it's okay. Yeah, sure. Yes, Maria.
Hey, Kang, would you be the active listener? Great. So as far as my name, I do try to sort of make this squiggly on my name on screen. And the reason for that is because I know it's a very common name. Maria is a common name, sort of not just in the US, but all over. And I grew up being called Maria, which to me sounds very different from Maria.
I was wondering why you had that little hyphen over there. I was really curious what that was all about.
Yeah, and I'm curious as well. However, Edwin and everyone, let's just follow the process. And of course, you will have an opportunity to, share your curiosity or whatever comes to you.
Sure.
Yeah, when we are the speaker. Thank you. Yes, Maria.
So, in fact, when I was growing up, it was never an issue. Everybody referred to me as Maria. And then, of course, I moved to the United States and everybody calls me Maria. And I try to, when I introduce myself, everybody kind of gives me that sort of curious look and they say, what is your name again? And I say Maria. And they say, in fact, most people can't say it. And so I tell everyone, it's like the male name Mario, but with an A. And somehow that seems to stick for most people.
Yes, so Mario.
Yes, and yeah, and actually I did question where that came from, and apparently my mother's middle name is Mari, and my older sister's name is Yuria. And so when I was being delivered, my father really wanted a son, and they were certain that I was going to be a boy. And when I was actually born and I turned out to be a girl, my father was deeply disappointed, and he didn't have a girl's name selected. So he decided to put my mother's middle name and my sister's first name together and just called me Maria.
Yeah. Okay. Maria. Maria.
Yes.
So just checking with you, Maria. How do you feel? Do you feel fully heard?
Maybe not exactly.
Okay. So that's okay. That's okay. And I could see Kang, enchanted with the pronunciation and saying Maria a few times. Just inviting anyone from this circle who are passive listener, would they want to make an attempt and try and give more to Maria to help her feel fully heard? Anyone? Okay, and then in that case, let me try and share with you, Maria, what I heard you saying. And you were talking about, the way you write your name, you make it look, did you mention squiggly?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, right. And that's because you want the name to be looking different. And, it's usually pronounced as Maria, but you would rather prefer Maria. And US, and then you moved to US, you heard everyone saying Maria, and you were like, no, it's Maria, right? And you also shared a story about why this name. And when you were being delivered, your father was expecting to have a son. Your mother is named Mary, and your sister is named Yuria. And that's where the name has come about. So did I miss anything?
No, I feel fully heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Kang, would you like to go next? It's your turn.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, can I ask you, Annie, to be my active listener? Or must I choose somebody else?
You asking me? Did you ask me?
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to be your listener. Yes.
Sorry for the technical problem just now.
That's okay. I'll try and do my best. Yep.
Where was I? Oh. So yes, the name means healthy in Chinese. I had a similar situation to what Maria experienced, that my parents wanted a boy. That's why they gave me a boy's name instead of girl's name. But it also because in Vietnamese we have this tradition that the name of the next child would go along with the name of the previous one. So okay, for example, in English, one word is written with many syllables. So we have expect. So expect X comes along with pect. But in Vietnamese, each word is only one syllable. So usually we have to combine different syllables to make a fully meaningful word. And my older sister name plus my name, it means peace and health in Vietnamese, and it's a very common well wish for other families during the new year. So that I am one parent.
Yeah, I would like to reflect here. So you continued from where you left, and you saying that something similar. You resonate with what Maria said, that why your name was chosen, because there was also an expectation of a boy, perhaps, and that could be one reason. And there is this tradition in Vietnam where the name is chosen from the previous generation. I think I missed something there. I'm sorry, there is some echo. So something you gave an example of English names.
Okay, okay, I will repeat that. So there is a tradition of combining the name to make like a meaningful phrase or meaningful sentence. And it can go from one generation to the next, or it can be like a string of name of all of the children. So my father's name plus my sister's name is a word that means peace in Vietnam. And if we add my sister's name to my name, it means well-being in Vietnamese.
Yeah. So I would reflect here. You said that there is a tradition in Vietnam where you add the names from the previous generation and the newborn so that it makes a meaningful sentence. So if you add your father's name and your sister's name, it means peace. And you gave another example where two names added would mean well-being. Your name and someone else's name in the family would mean, sister, would mean well-being. Yes.
Yes. And I think it's nine. Oh, okay.
No, go on. Just finish that, please. Yeah.
It will be a very long story, so I'm mother.
All right. Maybe next turn. Yeah. So how do you feel? Did I hear you?
Some parts were missing, but the gist of it, yes, I felt heard.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anu. Thank you, everyone. So Anu, we have 5 minutes for a debrief. So usually I ask the facilitator, how do you think that went? Just how was that for you? What did you
Thanks
do
for
well?
asking.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking, Leona. I think it was a wonderful experience because that's how it's going to happen in the real circle. So I enjoyed it, and I was kind of trying to think on the feet, and I was happy also for setting that presumption, because I saw my internet going off somewhere in between. So I was like, okay, thank God there is I have a co-fac and Leona is there. Of course, a few things could have been done differently. And I would love to know, different ways in which the same situation could have been handled differently. Yeah, but talking about the experience, I loved it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Anu. Maria and Kang, just, maybe 20 or 30 seconds about how Maria supported you when you were doing your challenges. How was that for you, the way she did it? So Kang, you dropped out and Maria brought you back in. Sorry, and Anu brought you back in. How was that for you?
I was there the whole time, and then I was very, very glad that she waited for me like 10 seconds, and I think that was really nice. I also really enjoyed Anu checking up on me like after Maria.
Yeah, I agree. And Maria, was there anything that you really enjoyed in the way that Anu supported you?
I appreciated the fact that she stepped in and reflected on my story.
Yeah,
I know that's difficult, but I felt that I was given the attention and the time. So I did appreciate that.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And Edwin, anything you would like to let Anu know?
Yeah, I liked how Anu put me in my place. It's like when I was kind of speaking out of turn, so that was, I set the rules there, and I felt a sense of care for, Maria with making sure I could see she didn't feel heard. So, there was a sense of care, which says, oh, Anu cares about everyone being heard. So I felt, like, oh, she'll care about me when it's my turn. So.
Yeah, I picked up on all of that too. I thought all of that was fantastic. And when Kang dropped out, Anu, what I thought was particularly skillful was your calm tone. Like, I think Kang might have dropped out. So you named what was happening, allowed time to see if Kang could come back in, offered a solution and explained what would happen. Well, we'll move on. And when Kang comes back, you'll get another go. And then welcome Kang back. All of that was really skillful, and everybody could see and relax into you having control, and supporting the group. I love the way when Edwin jumped in and said, oh, I'm really curious. You took the word curious and said, I am too. And when it's our turn to speak, we can find out, hear more about that. So you really just resonated with his energy and moved it along. I thought it was so warm and so supportive. And then again, like Maria said, offering the reflection after Kang did another challenge of not reflecting. Kang was great with the challenges today. But you just stepped in and said, would you like me to reflect that back? She could have said no, but she said yes, and you went ahead and did it. So I thought all that was great. And the last thing I noticed, which I loved, hang on, just make sure my alarm doesn't go off. I'll stop that. Was when Maria spoke and there was no gap, then you modeled the next time letting listeners have a gap. So rather than saying anything about it, you simply modeled speaking and pausing to give the active listener time to reflect back. And usually people go, oh, that's what we do. But of course, the speaker is welcome to speak in the way that's natural for them. But you modeled it, and I thought that was all great. So is there, two thumbs up, exactly. We'll pause there. Is there anything you'd like to add before we rotate through to Kang facilitating?
No, that's it. Thank you everyone for the kind words. I felt supported because I know each one of you. We've been in circles before, so that made it easy. Thank you.
Yeah, there were a lot of skills you used there, Anu, so you're ready to go. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so just take a couple of breaths and shift to Kang, the energy going to Kang as facilitator. Anu can sit back and relax now. And Kang, the floor is yours. Away you go. Is there anything you would like from me around support before you start?
I guess just the option to time out and ask you would be enough support. And I think, okay, let's go for highest challenge, even though I don't know what it's gonna look like. But
okay, highest challenge. Okay.
Not true, but well, because I have Fiona on my side. So. Okay, where are we? So welcome back to Empathy Circle. We just had a mini break in between the circles. So I suppose there are 4 people: Edwin, Maria, and you and I. So yes, so our next circle, I think I would love to follow up on the previous question of name. I guess this time we can either introduce ourselves with something that we think other people don't usually know about us. Just to share something that you think perhaps people don't know you when they meet you for the first time, or anything that you would like to share at the moment is all right.
So can we just talk? I've been getting kind of tired of the empathy circle, all this reflection and everything. How about we just talk like just like normal human beings instead of do all this reflective listening? I mean, can we kind of vote on that? You too? You want to do it too, Anu? Yeah, just kind of talk and just forget the empathy circle. Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're saying this, Edwin, because I feel there is this overload.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of a stupid process anyway, isn't it? It's just like you just like talk and reflect. It's just like a bunch of parrots. It's like, hey, let's just talk like human beings.
I'm actually thinking I came to the empathy circle, so I'd like to stick with the process, and I'm wondering what everybody else is feeling and what the problem might be there.
Thank you, Maria, and also thank you, Edwin and Anu, for sharing that. I can hear that this empathy circle has been quite tiring for both of you, and it's also quite, it might feel unnatural since we spend a lot more time than usual just to listen and reflect. Is that how you guys are feeling at the moment with the process?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, and then it's so noisy. You got chickens running around and making noise. It's just so annoying. And then your audio is so annoying. Maybe we should have two circles, like one circle you and Maria can do an empathy circle, and maybe Anu and I can just go and hang out. Do you want to just hang out, Anu? Just you and me talk?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Talking about everything under the sun. That's my idea of, talking with normal human beings.
Yeah, that's a good way to it.
But then I feel like I'm being left out, and I'm not really super happy about that either, and that I haven't really had a say in how to proceed. So
yes, and I also hear that there's frustration with the audio quality on my side, and there's also a wish to have like a free flow, easy kind of chat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
But I also wonder, like when you agreed to join us in this empathy circle, what was your initial interest in it that you signed up?
Yeah, I wasn't so sure what I was getting into. It was, I thought, well, what am I doing here? It sounded kind of interesting, but then, it kind of sort of changed my mind.
All right, so I'm hearing that you thought it was interesting, but now you're seeing more to it, and then you're like looking for something else.
Yeah, kind of thinking of something else. Yeah, maybe doing something else. But then I know Maria's unhappy. Now I'm worried about Maria, who's unhappy over there. And I think Anu and I would have a great discussion, sort of on our own. Maybe you and Maria could have a circle, just between the two of you. We could go have just a chat, something like that. Would that work? So
and I'm feeling a little bit like I'm being judged in a certain way because I'm not conforming to another person's request. So I'm feeling a little bit, again, maybe regret about being here in some ways. But
yeah, I'm feeling kind of like a power struggle. I think there's always been a power struggle between you and I. I think that's the problem. You always want it done your way, and I don't know about this.
I think we can agree that you're sort of, I mean, that power struggle thing, I feel like in order to make you happy, I might have to do what you'd like me to do. And I'm getting a little, sensitive about the fact that I'm being asked to do something without really, I'm being asked what I want.
Can I just ask us to take one deep breath together and I do acknowledge the fact that coming into this circle has been difficult for you, and especially now when we are talking about it. I'm glad we had the chance to talk about this because I really want this place to work for everyone. And this place is really where we can be heard, where we can have the empathy that we so rarely get to experience in our usual daily life. And I'm just very glad that you chose to share what's going on with you. And can I just check with perhaps Edwin first? How are you now? Do you feel that your concern have been understood by me and by other people in the circle?
Yeah, I still think there's sort of a power struggle between Maria and I. You know, I just got some issues with her. She's always trying to take control.
So there's a bit of history between you and thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Can I check with Maria?
Yes.
Yes. What's going on for you now?
I think maybe I was a little triggered by Edwin's comments, but I understand since you gave us the break, maybe I wasn't really listening to what Edwin was saying, and you know he needs the space to say his piece and for him to really be heard. So I'm actually in a good place.
Thank you. Yes,
I'm ready to proceed.
Edwin, would you like to reflect to Maria what you heard Maria say?
Oh, I was hearing Maria say that she is actually in a good place now. She feels that maybe she didn't listen to me, and it sounds like she wants to listen, and she's would like to proceed and is in a good space. Feels pretty good. Yeah.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Maria. Anu, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm honestly speaking, I'm beginning to feel a little disappointed because you know I'm feeling like caught between these two, and I'm also prepared to go with whichever way the group decides to go ahead with. If we want to have a normal conversation, I'm happy with that, and if we want to have a empathy circle as you thought of it to be, I'm good with that as well. I'm happy with anything.
Thank you. So I'm hearing that you feel a little caught in between Maria and Edwin, and also you are happy with how we go forward. And I just want to go back to Edwin a little bit because you were the first person to raise this concern that you would like a normal conversation.
Yeah, I'm sort of appreciating you listening to everyone. So I wouldn't mind kind of doing the empathy circle process just so we can hear from everyone. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So I guess perhaps I can try a shorter empathy circle so it won't tax people's energy so much to listen for a long period of time. It would be more natural as well. So we can try perhaps 3 minutes, just 3 minutes speaking and reflecting. So Edwin, would you be my speaker and I can be your active listener for this first round?
Oh, I don't really feel like talking. Like I feel like I've said a lot, so I don't really want to talk right now. I just kind of want to observe a little bit.
I understand that. Please feel free to take a minute just to be with yourself. So can I invite either of these beautiful ladies to share, perhaps on the question of how you're feeling, or perhaps what is your experience of listening in your life or anything on your mind.
Okay, so I can start being a neutral person between amongst three of us. But I would like to go with the first, the first question that you had asked us to think about, because that's what I have thought about. I would like to, okay, I would like to invite Maria to be my listener. Maria, would you listen to me?
Sure, I would love to.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so, I'm thinking about what is it that the group doesn't know about me? What comes to my mind so much. I'm meeting this group for the first time. And, just other than perhaps looking at my name and knowing my nationality, the group may not know anything else about me. I'll just take a breath here.
So I'm hearing that you're thinking about what we might not know, and because we're meeting here, besides what we could see, your ethnicity and your name that we heard and we can see on the screen, we might not know anything else really about you.
Yeah. And it's interesting. There is so much that I can talk about. But I would like this group to know about me. There is a long list. But I think I would rather go with what I also may not know much about myself. And it might just come out in the right situation and the right moment, something like that.
So so I'm hearing that you have actually quite a list of things that you would like everyone to know about you. But you also feel that maybe if we go with a process that you might be able to offer, and we might be able to discover more about you sort of naturally through the process.
Yeah, and I also mentioned that let me choose and go with something that even I'm not aware about myself, because it just comes out at the right moment and in the right situation.
So I'm hearing that you're wanting to choose on your own so that it might just come out naturally, what you would like others to know about you.
Yes. And I think I just noticed this quality to be able to step back when there is a confrontation happening, and to kind of step back and observe. So this is what I experienced when the cohort was having, the group was having a heated discussion on what needs to happen in this circle. And I was like, okay, which side do I go with? And so I decided to take a step back and reflect.
So I'm hearing that when one of the qualities that you recognize is the value of stepping back and letting things reveal themselves. And you noticed when in this group, when we were experiencing a little bit of confrontation and a little bit of tension in the group, that you made the conscious choice to just step back and let things unfold.
I really love the way you said that, the value of stepping back. I couldn't have said that myself. I feel fully heard. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. Edwin, would you be my active listener?
Okay, listening.
So I'm thinking about something that everyone might not know about me. I have lots of things I like to do. One of the things I do is I am a dog trainer.
Yeah, so you're just thinking about the aspect of what people don't know about you, and the one is that you're a dog trainer.
And I often get asked questions about that. And in fact, when people call me for help with their sort of unruly dogs, and they ask me how long will it take for me to train their dogs. And one of the one thing I make clear to everyone I work with is that I don't train dogs to do what I want them to do or what other people want them to do. Because I could show them, I could get the dog to do what they want me to do. My job is to get the dog owner to get their dog to do what they want them to do.
So when people ask you, oh, how long does it take for you to get the dog to do what you want to do? You say, well, I don't try to do that. I try to get the dog to do what you as the owner want to do. And so you kind of shift the focus to them.
Yeah, so I actually trained, I don't really like calling myself a dog trainer. I like to call myself a dog owner trainer because it's usually people that have a communication issue, not the dogs.
So you call yourself not a dog trainer, but a dog owner trainer because you got to deal with the issues of the owners more than the dogs.
And I think that's actually an interesting aspect about communication. When you leave it to dogs and they are not judgmental, they don't analyze, they don't break down our motives and intentions behind everything we do and say. Communication is really straightforward, simple, and easy to get to the bottom of things.
So it sounds like you're sort of appreciating how dogs just they just get to the bottom of things. That there's no judgment, there's not all this other stuff that humans do, and maybe some appreciation for that.
Yeah, I feel fully heard. Thank you, Edmund.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kang. Can't hear you. You're on mute. Ooh, how are you, Kang, after that?
I was so tense that I can feel like my entire body tensing up the moment thing got out of expectation.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I have to say that Maria was so kind, and then Anu was also kind, and then Edwin was also very kind to put an end to that challenge. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I could have done something more.
What did you do well? Like, what do you feel like you did well? Just something you were happy with.
I was happy that I did not panic, and then I tried my very best to check in with everyone and make sure no one felt so turned away by the conversation.
Yeah.
And I was also glad that I had the sense to take a deep breath with the group, and this group was so nice to follow along with that, because there have been cases when that doesn't work.
I agree with you, Kang. I think you did all of those things really well. And when you said put the challenge high, Edwin jumped in with it like this high, right over here.
Be careful what you ask for.
So let's just quickly hear, because we've only got a few minutes, but just what Edwin, Maria, and Anu felt you did well as a facilitator, given the intensity of those challenges. And that was really intense. So Edwin, what worked for you about what Kang did?
The main thing was the reflection. When Kang started reflecting me and then reflecting Maria, reflecting Anu. So it was not really just trying to correct me, but just hearing me. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm feeling heard here. So that helped a bit. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And Maria, what did Kang do that was really helpful for you?
I think for me, it was just Kang being calm and her energy in it. I think it's easy to escalate that energy. Again, I wasn't prompted. I kind of went with the flow and Edwin's lead on that. So Kang, you actually did a real live, challenge there. And I think really having, her being calm and steady and hearing everybody and compassionate towards everyone's well-being that I could sense from her was very, very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Kang, the fact that you were very calm brought everybody into that, they could come into that calm space as well. It was fabulous. Anu, what was some feedback you would like to give Kang about how that was for you in the way she handled the challenges?
Yeah. So, Leona, I would like to say all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Calm and reflection and real-time modeling. This is what I also observed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was not an easy task. Yeah.
It was not. And I would like to say all of the above as well, Kang. I noted that you systematically offered empathy around the circle to everyone. So I could see everyone feeling heard. And so that you were modeling, it feels better when you feel heard. It's more than a conversation, because your reflections back were both, were also about their emotional state. It was really beautiful modeling of empathy. And then you invited them to think about why they came to the circle. So reconnected them with their purpose and intention, and the invitation to have a try at it. And there was still some resistance to that. And you it was really like watching Aikido. You just went with the resistance and invited everyone to take a breath for a moment and then listen to the reflections again, then offered another solution and an invitation. And when Edwin said he didn't want to speak, again, no resistance, just went with that. And then it was just beautiful. And I had a part of me that's like, how long should we leave this toing and froing? But what I felt you were doing was modeling how healing and calming empathy is. And I learned a lot watching you do that as a facilitator. So thank you. I thought that was really skillful, just staying in process of offering empathy. And everybody could see the benefits of it until they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Thank you. Anything you would like to say after hearing all that feedback, Kang? Anything you'd like to add?
I'm just very grateful for the chance. Very, very grateful for the challenge.
Yeah, that's the hardest challenge I've seen yet. So well done, you. Okay. Now, sometimes we take a little break in the middle of the 75 minutes so that you can stretch or go to the bathroom. Does everybody want to take 2 minutes? Yeah. Does that sound okay? Do you want to just pause the recording, Edwin, for the 2 minutes? Maria?
Yes.
It's your turn.
Okay.
Do you feel ready?
I'm as ready as I will be, I think.
What kind of challenge level would you like to throw out to the group?
As much as Edwin instilled the sense of fear from the last round, I think I will go with medium.
Fair enough. And how can I be of support to you? What would be, is there anything in particular you would like?
No, I'm not, to be honest, I'm not really sure what kind of support I may need, so.
Sure, so I'm available if you need to stop and ask for support, or at the end, if there's specific feedback, I'll, if I can offer it, I certainly will.
Thank you.
Okay, so the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to get started with our empathy circle. And each person is going to have 3 minutes. I'm going to select the first speaker, and the speaker could select their active listener. Okay, Anu, would you like to be the first speaker? Oh, and I'm sorry, the topic for today is, do you have a short-term or immediate goal for the very near future, maybe within the week, month sort of goal? Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I think by serendipity you have chosen me because I don't seem to have set any goal. But this gets me thinking. So I'm happy to go first. Kang, would you like to be my listener? Thank you. Okay, so I don't have a goal as a goal. But now that we are meeting here in this circle, I would like to share with you what would I like to achieve, ideally like to achieve in the next 3 months. Yeah, I'll take a breath here. Yeah.
So I'm hearing that you don't have a goal, but being here, you would like to share what you would like to achieve in the next 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, and 3 months, let's make it 3 months because, you know, I'm not good at chasing goals. So what comes to my mind at the moment is lately I haven't been happy with low levels of fitness. You know, I get tired and I run out of breath if I take a staircase. Yeah, so I think it's time that I start looking at health and fitness seriously.
So you hear that 3 months is an adequate length of time for you to look forward. And since you've been having problem with fitness, climbing staircase, and feeling tired, you think starting here would be a good thing.
Come to think of it, what do you think? Should I have a 3 months time frame, or are you in fitness? Are you into fitness yourself? What do you do to keep fit?
So I do all of my exercise in the morning, and then I spend around like 30 minutes a day just to stretch and maybe run. Sometimes we go for swimming.
Oh, okay. So, so then I presume you don't have any other responsibilities. You can do so much in a day. You can go for a swim, you can stretch, you can exercise. So I'm just curious to know that, you know, do you have other things to take care of?
I do, but I'm very fortunate that I have a mom who helps me cook in the morning, so I can like save half an hour in the morning. Sometimes I also feel very guilty that I get to exercise while she has to cook for me.
Ah, okay. Well, my husband, I have my husband who likes to cook. Oh, is it up?
Time's up. Yes, time's up. So Anu, do you feel fully heard?
No, not yet. Not yet. I want to talk with Kang, and I want to take more tips from her. You know, how so much is packed in a single day. It's amazing.
Okay.
And yeah,
if
and
I could pause you for a second, Anu.
Yeah, sure.
Kang, if I could invite you to maybe, I know that Anu had some questions and she had sort of inquired to you, but rather, do you think maybe you might be able to reflect on what Anu has said to you so that she can feel fully heard?
So I think Anu was having some concern about how to actually have time for fitness and how to do it with her schedule. And something else. Sorry, I know what to say.
Yeah, and I was just wondering that you said that you have a mom to cook, and I was saying I have a husband to cook. Yet I don't feel motivated to work out. So it's interesting. Is there more to it? Do you plan a day prior? What kind of schedule do you have? And more importantly, how do you get yourself started? Because for me, if I start my day the right way, then I can achieve so much. But the problem is then how do I get going, get started?
So I'm hearing that motivation is a big problem for you, even though you have your husband to help you cook.
Yeah, and I would love to know from you that how do you motivate, self-motivate, and how do you go about having that kind of regime? It's like too much stretching, exercising, swimming. And I also feel a bit jealous now. There is a sense of envy.
I know I'm hearing that you have more that you would like to share, and perhaps we could have you save that for the next round, because I would like to, I think self-motivation is a really interesting area that we all struggle with. So do you think you can hold on to the next until we get to the next round for you?
Yeah, come to think of it, it would be good. Maybe the jealousy goes away on its own. Yeah, so I would, yeah.
Kang, would you like to select your active listener?
Can I choose Anu as my active listener?
Okay, good. And maybe if you give me those tips now, I'm ready.
Okay, Maria said things seem to be okay, so okay, I will start.
I'm sorry, Kang. I'm really sorry. I can't hear your. Can you repeat what you were saying?
Oh, that's okay. I can hear her. I can hear her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
I was asking whether I can choose Anu as my active listener.
Do you think you could select someone else? Try to select someone that hasn't participated yet. That would be great.
Oh, what a disappointment. I was waiting for her to share the fitness tips, but that's okay. I think my turn would
Maybe
come.
in the next round. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Anu.
Okay, so I need to, Edwin, would you want to be my active listener?
Yeah, it's listening.
So goal, just to follow up on Anu's question.
So you want to follow up on Anu's question?
Oh, yes, that was what I was thinking about. So for me, trying to have a routine helps me a lot in doing other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you just find that having a routine really helps you to kind of a lot.
Kang, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, and I also wanted to share that having someone else to be on my side really helps me to keep to the routine. For example, I would not do my checklist at the end of the day. Okay, I did this, I did that on my own, but I can do it for my sister, for example. And while I'm doing that for my sister, I also remember to do it for myself.
So you have sort of a technique to help you get things done is you try to do it for other people. So if you have a checklist, you're doing it for your sister. And then in the process, you're kind of doing it for yourself too. So kind of a little strategy there for motivation.
Yes. So the goal for I don't even have a goal for 3 months. Oh, wow, 10 minutes.
I didn't quite hear that. You do have a goal or you don't have a goal for 3 months? You don't have 3 months goals.
I have yearly goals and then monthly steps, but I can't think in terms of 3 months ahead.
So your approach is you have a 1-year goal and then you sort of break it up by months to kind of have steps, individual steps is kind of how you approach the goals. Not 3 months. You don't do the 3 months, think in those terms.
Oh.
Was that the time or?
Yes.
Are you just saying hello?
Sorry.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you.
All right.
I feel very hurt.
Okay, good. I guess I'll speak to you then, Maria.
Yes.
Okay. So about goals, yeah, my one big goal is this training, just it's like I just work on it all the time, working, 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, maybe sometimes even more, and then sort of breaking it down into different components. So yeah, that's kind of my main goal is to kind of get this training really in good shape.
I'm hearing that your goal, short term, and your big goal is to get this training underway, and you spend hours, long days planning and getting everything set up for this training.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Just like I enjoy talking to you, right? It's like, yeah, I'm doing this. This is part of developing it, and it's it's fun to talk to you and see what's going on here. So it's a fun process. It has a mixture of fun and work, hard work too.
So I'm hearing that you really enjoy doing the work because again, you get to talk to us, and that the time we spend talking to each other and really being heard. So you're motivated in that way by the joy you receive from the work you do.
Yeah, and then the larger goal is to break through with empathy, what we're doing, into the larger culture. And so for that, the goal is I want to take our empathy tent and our trainings to Washington, D.C. and camp out in front of the White House and, kind of, demand that the Congress and president take part in empathy circles. Just something that we can kind of move this into the, the national conversation.
So I'm hearing that the steps you take, the work you put into it now, the big picture goal is to expand this and taking it to DC and having some of our leaders and people in Congress experience it, and having the empathy tent where others, key decision makers, can experience this process and maybe have a larger impact.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just not one empathy tent. Let's have hundreds of them, kind of there. And so, and it just probably getting close to time, but I just have another Congress member, my congressman has agreed to take part, and a second congressperson just agreed to take part. So I'm trying to get 4. Those are 2 Democrats trying to get 2 Republicans now. Yeah.
So I'm hearing that you have 2 congressmen, and your goal is to have hundreds of tents and not just one.
Yeah.
But now you have 2 Democrats and the goal is to have 2 Republicans join and participate in the Empathy Circle.
Exactly. I feel fully heard. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
You guys do tough challenges, I gotta say. When I was training, my challenges were a lot easier. How are you doing, Maria?
Good. I'm good. I mean, I was trying to embody more of Kang actually after her challenge. I think kind of stepping in early is my personal sort of style to try to, again, be time efficient. But I think trying to practice other people's strategies that I find effective in different ways. So I sort of challenged myself, and I also picked the topic to be a little more challenging because I figured it's something that people might struggle to talk about when they haven't had a previous experience thinking about it. So.
Yep. Would you like to hear back from Kang and Anu and Edwin about what they enjoyed about your facilitation?
I would love to.
Okay, so maybe Anu, you start.
Yeah, so I agree with what Maria says. There was this calm and going with the flow strategy. So I didn't see Maria to she didn't jump in or tried course correcting because I just kind of took a fancy flight and started having a conversation with Kang. Then doing it the way the process was meant to be. Now I'm wondering what could have been done differently there, and keeping the fact that this could have been the first cycle for this circle, maybe the opportunity to course correct might come later. But I was also thinking that we kind of having more of a one-on-one conversation, and then I got bold and I caught hold of her, and I started asking for tips and
I
but
think
then the calm,
what you're pointing to, Anu, and I'm just conscious of time because Edwin's going to pull us out of the room. But what you're pointing to is really important. So Maria, it's that fine balance. If people are new in a circle, they can go off the rails quite quickly. And the way you pull people back in was great, but you might have done it earlier before Anu really got rolling with like, well, Kang, how do you say, and who cooks your dinner? So just a little earlier before she really got going and gave herself permission to make it a conversation. If they are more experienced, you might have jumped in even earlier, just saying, you remember when we do these circles, we don't ask questions. But with new people, we're a little more careful with their sensitivities. Kang, just quickly, because we've got 2 minutes, is there anything you would share about what you enjoyed or feedback for?
I enjoyed the delay in the way for me to respond when I was zoning out and not responding to Edwin. And I really appreciated that Maria came in, but not so fast, so that I still have time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And Edwin, anything for?
For me, it was I was feeling a bit anxious about not, jumping in right away, sort of taking control there. Oh, what's going on here? This is going on. They're talking. This is kind of like not following what we're supposed to be doing, so, and I didn't, it's kind of like, what's going on here? I thought I didn't really, so it seemed to go on for quite a while. So I was starting to,
Yep. So I think, Maria, you offered Anu some feedback. She didn't quite pick it up. So I think sometimes you've just got to go again and say, I notice you're asking questions again. Let's just try the speaking and reflecting, and let's just give yourself an opportunity to see what it's like. You may get the information you need when Kang speaks anyway, because often people respond. So just to reassure you. But yeah, that was a huge challenge. That was like a right up there. So well done. I think your style is really gentle, and finding your own way of being a facilitator is the way. Everybody does it differently. Really, we do. I just want to thank you all for having a go today, as we say in Australia, giving it a go. It's really skillful facilitation today. And the whole group will be coming back into the room now, and you'll have a chance to have a little debrief. So well done. Edwin, is there anything you'd like to add as a trainer?
I think you did covered everything.
Yeah. Oh, you know, always remembering to let people know how long their speaking turn is. So if it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes, really important to let them know that, so they know how long they've got. Yeah. Here comes everyone.
Just wondering who Celebrity Network is.
That is me, Payal. I'm just renaming myself.
Okay, were you waiting long in the wait room? I didn't see you there till just the last minute.
I was waiting for 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't see you.
No problem. My internet got dropped and then I had to change it.
All right. So yeah, welcome back, everybody. And so before we debrief, so if you all remember, in the first session, we had spoken about, creating a culture of empathy, right? Which is one of the things that we hope to achieve by practicing, or, introducing you all to empathy circles and getting you all to practice it. So along with that, I'd just like to remind you of some important core values, right? That, that the empathy circles and the whole building, an empathy culture is based on. So these values are empathy, right? Mutuality, openness, and care, right? So this is not an exhaustive list or anything for, as values for a culture, building a culture of empathy. But these are a few values, like empathy, mutuality, openness, and care are a few values which we hope to be pushing, like, through this process of empathy circles, right? So as part of the debrief, each of you will have 1 minute, but we would also like to know, how do you see empathy circle practice beginning to build a culture of empathy in your world and in the larger world, right? So this would be something that we would like you to maybe focus on as well while we go through the, debrief, right? Yeah, so I'll just put that in the comment section as well. Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I'll start calling each of you, so you can share any experience that you want to share from today's session, as well as give an answer to this question of how do you see the empathy circle practice beginning to build a culture of empathy in your world, in the okay, in the larger world, I mean. So I'll call you out, each one of you, and then you can share your experience. You have a minute each. Yeah, so Maria, let's start with you. Yeah.
I really appreciated today's training and session with my group. I think I got to experience different styles, and I kind of got to challenge myself in choosing against what instinctively came to me. And then I got the confirmation from my group that I should probably just stick to my instinct when it comes to, so that was actually a valuable experience for me, and to get that confirmation in from a different direction.
Thank you. Would you also like to maybe answer the question, or like, would you like us to just go ahead about, how you see the empathy circle beginning to build a culture of empathy in the larger world? Yeah.
Sorry about that. I wasn't trying to give you a challenge or anything. I didn't see a question.
So I thought, yeah, why not?
I definitely do. I think I'm seeing in my circle, and one of my interests is, again, expanding to youth. And having my son experience this, and him talking about how valuable it would be for him to have this opportunity with his friends. And I know that presents its own challenges, but every time I'm part of a circle, the impact and the trickle effects of being present and having that experience, I think, is priceless for especially teenagers who need really to truly be heard and valued in that way. So he's interested in possibly looking at trying with his friends and his cousins and the younger people. So that really makes me hopeful.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Kang, would you like to go next?
Yes, I just first want to say a very big thank you to everyone in the room, in my room, who have really been a great source of inspiration. So that's one. And for the culture of empathy, I really like the fact that you use the word culture, because it's not like a skill that each person has on herself or himself, but it has to be something that is so widespread. Like when we are in the culture, we naturally would offer empathy. And I think attending this workshop has been changing me in the way I listen to other people. I jump into the conversation less. I automatically do the reflection in my head before answering. So I think that really, if this is the environment that, as Maria said, youth or people are immersed in, it will just seep into them. So very, very big.
Thank you, Kang. Well said. Jen?
Yes, I'm really excited about this building the culture of empathy. I just, I think the experience of coming here to the training and to the circles that I've participated in, just it's so nice to jump into an already built-in culture of empathy, because each of us is joining to experience the empathy. And so, yeah, being willing, like my willingness and everybody's willingness to bring this out to your own community where you are is so inspiring. I mean, it's the thing that makes me feel safer in the world, So yeah, I feel really grateful. And the breakout room today, like I feel so tired right now. Like I'm just, I need some sleep. And just with the challenges and everything, it was so funny that I mean, it was challenging, and I just felt like, I mean, it was funny, but it was not funny. You know what I mean? Like it was just one of those uncomfortable things that I just had to go to the humor place, because yeah. Anyway, I hope that made sense.
It did. Thank you, Jen. And Faustina?
Can everyone hear me? Yeah. I just had such a fun experience today. I had such a good time with my breakout group, and it was really, I learned so much, and I was still able to have so much fun. And I really, it excites me to see this energy here in our group, and knowing that we also make an effort to bring it out into the world. I don't know, that just inspires me so much to do the same. And I do see it whenever just someone is willing to listen to me empathically. And I think it's just this this atmosphere that we're building within our group is so important and empowering. It just makes me want to spread it, and I think that's really what's important.
Thank you, Faustina. Mainak?
Yeah, I think I had the most fun exercise today. Priyanka did a great job, and I wish we could have started with this. I don't know, but maybe it would have been too much. But I really enjoyed the session today. In terms of how this is helping me, like I've mentioned before, professionally, definitely it's helping me a lot. I'm getting into client advisory calls, and it helps me to be a much better active listener than I used to be. Other than that, it certainly gives me a sense of community that way. These buddy calls coming here on Fridays, and Jen in fact reached out to me separately when she didn't really need to, and that gives me that sense of community which I'm really thriving within. So thanks for this.
Great to hear that, Mainak. Thank you. Larry?
I feel so much gratitude for every time we have the breakout rooms. Everyone just gets so close. It's like all of our hearts are become one heart. It's so amazing. And the group tonight, Lizzie, our facilitator, kept us all together and gave us wonderful suggestions and challenges. And each of us participated, and Faustina and Kesha are just so close to everyone. And it's up a personal level of empathy and compassion within each of us, and we get to see that in each other, and it just keeps refreshing in each of us, and it's just a beautiful experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry. Kesha?
Hi, everyone. I had a wonderful session in the breakout room. I missed my last session, and today, being practice challenges, I could see how I went out of my comfort zone and faced the challenge that I probably would have in facilitation. So it was really wonderful, and thank you to the group for being there with me and for me. And how it is, how this is helping me in my personal life. I mean, it's been helping me a lot. But one of the things that's coming up right now in my mind is I've been able to practice listening, deep listening through this, and completely put my chatter that happens in my mind separate, and actually be there in the moment for the person who's sharing something with me. So yeah, that's the way it is helping me. So thank you for this.
Great to know that, Kesha. Anu?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Rasha. So I'll start by saying a big thanks to my team members, in the breakout room, Kang and Maria, and also Leona for being a master facilitator and giving clean and crisp instructions. So it was a wonderful experience, and of course Edwin was also there to share his expert tips. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Now coming to the point of empathy circle practice, how is it helping me? It's helping me immensely. I have been facilitating my groups, and I think especially when in the current times when the meetings are happening online, there is a increased scope of demonstrating empathy. People drop off, people are not being heard. Um, so there is so much. And so this has come at the right time, I would say, and it's helping me as a facilitator and coach to be able to listen better. How is it going to help in the larger world? I think I would stick to the vision that I see. The culture of empathy is all about building a global culture of empathy and connection, where people experience the joy of being connected with each other. And that's what these circles are doing for me. I really feel connected every time. I feel more connected than the previous time. So yeah, so that's the message, and that's what we are taking to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu. So nice to hear. Payal?
Yep. Hi, everyone. So I found the session today very helpful to deal with distractions and to still keep the focus. I think that was very helpful. Also, there was a dilemma in my mind often. Should I hold the process? Should I hold the person? How do I hold both together? So those were some questions. And I think the process took charge, and that was very helpful to see how do you deal with some of these challenges. How do I see this shaping up in the world that I'm in and around me? So first, I think the first space where I see this coming very naturally to me is with colleagues that I work with, who actually talk the same language, work in the same space. So I think it's going to be easy with colleagues, and then hopefully taking it to family, which right now I find difficult because the language that I hear them possibly anticipate they will say is, don't start your process on me. So that's the second step where I'm going to see myself walk at least the first mile with colleagues. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Payal. So Jaya?
Yeah, I think, hi everyone. So for me, it was so difficult in the challenge phase because I'm not a natural disruptor. So to disrupt the process at some part was becoming so difficult for me, but I managed to play that part and also learned a lot in the entire experience of the time we spent together, the four of us. And the way I think, what I believe in is the basic need, like Marshall Rosenberg says, the basic need of a human is to be understood. So I think, so building a culture, and that helps with me. In every human interaction, I see to it that the other person feels heard. So whether it is family, whether it is friends, whether it is office, no matter where the situation is, I try to see that I understand the other person. And that's how I think at a personal level, I'm bringing that culture in.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mona?
First, thank you, Rasha and Jen and Sally, for the breaking room, because today it was very challenging and very kind in the same time. Like, we started with kindness and then with some challenging, and I really every time discover something in myself first. Like, I'm always the person who run from the argument. Like, it's okay. I'm not talking. I'm just. But today I found myself challenging myself to whatever I feel inside. I need to understand the person in front of me and to try to make myself clear for him. So this was the first thing inside the challenging. Yeah, I will cry for a little bit, Jen, but I will be fine. So with the empathy circle and how it's helped to build the empathy culture, I think every time I say it's listening, to be a better listening, but I start to see more. Like, I can see the person in front of me. Like, today I see the person. I understand them. I can see their faces. And this is something I never thought that I'm seeing the person who's talking. I get so distraction. But now I can see the person inside of me. I can, in front of me, I can hear him. And this is a very empathic thing, to talk with each other, listening, speaking, seeing each other. So this is a very strong thing I just get today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mona. Sally?
I well took on the challenge of being the timer, and I couldn't have done it with the amount of equipment I have at my disposal, which I realized, and that broke up my concentration. And finally, when Mona was the facilitator, I was able to really focus. But I was so, yeah, the timing was disjointed, and then yeah, I'm really learning the process. It may seem to everyone else like I'm like the slowest snail or slug, but what I want to say is, yeah, if I can learn this process, I can see anyone as doing it, and the people here are so diverse, and it's so exciting to see everyone communicate and be so enjoyable.
Thank you. Thank you, Sally. Yeah, Priyanka.
It was a really fun circle that we had today. And it's interesting to see how I learned so much from the way people handling the challenges. I have a lot to take home, and I've made notes about how to, confront disruptions. And really excited to be part of this group, and looking forward to the next session where we get to harvest all our learnings.
Thank you, Priyanka. Lizzie?
Hi, it's always so lovely to be doing this. Every single time I'm in empathy cafes, I just think they drop down to a deep level of meaning, and I get a lot, and I'm really grateful. So I was struck in our group was so much fun. I really was great. But I started to see how I can, and other members, some of the members of the group, get nervous when we think we need to correct somebody. And then are we going to be too direct? Will it be rude? Will it be this? Will it be that? And it just sort of reminded me, and I reminded them, to think of it as, it's not about that person. We're just simply holding the space. We're holding a process, and we keep bringing people back to the process, just gently back to the process, just back to the process. And that's really all it is. And we experimented with that in lovely ways. And when I think about life, I sometimes go for walks with my husband, and we do it together, the 5 minutes each. It's very good for a relationship that's got tensions or difficulties, because you've got that equal sharing and listening. It's actually fantastic. And I've also done it with a friend who tends to take up all the space with her anxieties and worries. So sometimes I've taught her to do it, and we do that together as a way of balancing out the friendship. But I would also love to be able to teach it to families, because a lot of parents struggle with how to really listen to their children and actually really speak openly and honestly to their children without teaching them, just being real themselves. So I think it could be wonderful in families, really wonderful. But thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Lizzie. Leona?
Yeah, I think it's always interesting coming in as a trainer, and I learn a lot. So I've got my notes. So I'd love to thank the group I was with today for all the skills you modeled for me. it reminds me that we're all just sharing skills we bring together, and we're all on a learning curve together. Yeah, this in terms of the world, I also do 5 minutes with my husband, and it's fabulous for us. Sometimes it's only 1 5-minute exchange each because we're rushing off to work, but other times we'll sit for 15 or 20 minutes and do a few turns. So I think even, you know, we're a little circle of 2, or we can be a bigger circle of 3 or 4. Really listening can only change the world. So thank you for today, everyone.
Thank you, Leona. Edwin?
Yeah, for me, the empathy circle is a little mini culture of empathy, right? And the challenges are all the things in the world, the pain, the dysfunction, the conflict. And, you know, as a facilitator, you're bringing it into the circle and trying to transform that into empathic connection. And I just see the kind of the power of what we're doing, that we can just spread this. Take it, let's bring it to the politicians. Let's, you know, spread it all around the world. And if we can get, you know, we sort of bring the whole world into a big empathy circle. So yeah, so that's kind of the vision of that culture of empathy. And this is sort of just a little starting point, you know, sort of the minimal viable little culture of empathy. And it just works, and it works. It's just amazing how it works. Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you, Edwin. And for me, it was a very challenging, as well as a very, very, good session as well, because there's a lot of learning that I got. I'm very grateful to, grateful for the opportunity that I got today. Yeah, just feeling really grateful, and yeah. And about, a culture of empathy, I feel one of the things that we lack today is the opportunity to be heard. I think a lot of us feel that, and this, you know, what culture of empathy, empathy circles promote is a culture where we feel heard. I mean, we are listened to, right? And that's very, very deep and very meaningful. I feel it helps just make the world a better place. And so, yeah, that's where I see empathy circles affecting the world. I mean, like Bill says, like, you know, one person heard is like, you know, one extra person who feels heard. It's just like making the world a little better, right? So, yeah. Thank you. So, Priyanka, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Raksha, for leading us to the harvesting. So I'm just wondering if any trainers have any final comments.
I had one, just sort of a raising of hands. Who is interested in taking, like, next week we have our last session, and getting just sort of a little poll. Who would like to continue taking another cohort? You know, train the trainer. Just wanted to get a general sense of okay, most of the participants were interested in continuing. So that was it for me. Thanks.
I posted the link to the survey in the chat. We would really appreciate if you could fill that out with all the honesty about how you felt about the circles, because it helps us to improve and make things better for the next cohort that come in, and also make some changes. So we follow the agile system where we make incremental changes to the process based on your feedback. So it's really, really valuable for us. We really value your opinion. So please do take the time to fill it out. The next thing on the agenda is what's coming up next in session 5. So next session, what we're going to do is we're going to integrate all the learnings and get feedback about your training. So it's going to be like a harvesting session. And then we also have some assignments. So we will be sending emails out which will have 3 things. Firstly, a reminder to fill out the session feedback, because very important for us, and also guidelines on how to on the empathy buddy call, which you will have also this week. And we also highly encourage you to try and facilitate an empathy circle with your family, with your friends, because it's in the practice that you get really better. Does anybody have any questions about that? What we're going to do next week? Okay. So now I'd like to invite you to please post in the chat one word about how you're feeling right now at this moment. What is happening in you right now? What are you feeling? Okay, wow. Great, gratitude, encouraged, Jen is sleepy, inspired, grateful. I'm feeling energetic today, feeling calm, satisfied, excited. Great. So a beautiful end to yet another beautiful empathy circle. And let's all do the jazz hands so Edwin can take the famous picture.
See you next week.
See you
Final
next week. Enjoy
session.
yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you, Empathy Circle team, and thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Anu.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye,
Larry.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye, Maria.
Thank you, Larry, for staying up so late.
Hey, Sally. Yeah, we're staying up late too here in the East Coast. Oh, really late in Florida. Wow. Yeah. Thanks, Larry. That's beyond Call of Duty.
Thanks, Larry. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Lizzie.
Bye-bye, Maria.
Bye.
Hi, Maria.
Bye, Larry.
Hi. Thank you, Lizzie.